The boy's name is Jay, a 20-year-old from Cebu. He grew up singing on the streets to support his sick mother and 2 younger siblings. Life was hard. Every coin he earned came from singing under the scorching sun or late at night in the rain. He had no fancy clothes, no stage, and no microphone. Just a guitar with broken strings, his voice, and a dream that seemed too big for someone like him. But Jay believed. Every night after singing for hours, he would whisper to himself that one day he would sing on a big stage. One day, the world would listen. One afternoon, a tourist couple from Ireland walked by. They stopped, stunned by his voice. The man took out his phone and started recording. Jay was singing an old Elvis Presley classic, and his voice sounded so raw and powerful that people thought it was a studio recording. The video went viral online in just a few days. Millions of views, thousands of comments, people around the world writing how this boy reminded them of the king of rock and roll. But among those who saw the video was someone special. A talent scout from Ireland's Got Talent. Jay couldn't believe it when he received the message inviting him to audition for the show. He had never been on a plane, never been outside the Philippines. With the help of kind strangers and donations from people who were touched by his story, he boarded a flight to Dublin with his guitar in hand. He was quiet during the flight, his hands tightly holding the guitar. He looked out the window and whispered to himself, "This is it." The audition day came. Backstage, surrounded by contestants wearing fancy outfits and with stylists fixing their hair, Jay stood in a simple white shirt, jeans, and his worn-out sneakers. He was nervous, but his eyes had that fire, the fire of someone who had nothing to lose. As the stage assistant called his name, his heart started racing. The doors opened, the bright lights hit his face. And there he was, standing on the grand stage of Ireland's Got Talent, in front of the judges, Lewis Walsh, Michelle Visage, Denise Van Ouden, and the one and only Simon Cowell, who was a guest judge for that special episode. Simon looked at Jay curiously. The crowd was silent. Jay's hands trembled slightly as he held the microphone. Lewis asked him, "What's your name?" Jay answered softly, "My name is Jay, I'm from the Philippines." The audience clapped. Simon leaned forward. "What are you going to sing for us today?" Jay smiled nervously and said, "An Elvis Presley song." The lights dimmed. The first strum of his guitar echoed. Then his voice came out. Deep, smooth, full of soul. The crowd was instantly frozen. It wasn't just a song. It was a feeling. It was pain, hope, and beauty all wrapped into one. Jay sang as if his entire life depended on this one moment. Simon's eyes widened. Denise covered her mouth. Michelle closed her eyes to feel every word. People in the audience began to stand. It was a rare silence in a talent show, the kind that only happens when someone truly extraordinary steps onto the stage. Halfway through the song, Jay hit a powerful note. The audience exploded with applause. Simon leaned back in his chair, smiling, that famous smile he only gives when he sees something legendary. When the song ended, the entire hall rose to its feet. A standing ovation. People were shouting, crying, clapping. Jay stood there in tears, overwhelmed, clutching his guitar like a lifeline. Simon took the microphone. "I have seen many performances. I've heard countless voices. But this was special. You didn't just sing like Elvis. You sang better than Elvis. You have a gift, Jay. And the world needs to hear it." The crowd screamed. Jay covered his face, shaking, not believing what he just heard. Michelle said, "That was the most emotional performance I've seen in a long time." Denise added, "You just made history on this stage." Lewis said, "Jay, you're going to change your life starting tonight." Then, the moment everyone was waiting for, Simon stood up, walked to the golden buzzer, and with a powerful smile, slammed it down. Golden confetti rained from above. The crowd roared. Jay fell to his knees, crying, as the judges walked to him to give him a hug. Simon whispered in his ear, "Never stop singing." Backstage, Jay called his mother in the Philippines through a shaky video call. She was in tears, holding the phone tightly, unable to speak. She had always told him to chase his dreams, even when they had no money. And now, her son was living the dream in front of millions. As the competition went on, Jay became a fan favorite. Each performance was more powerful than the last. He sang classics, ballads, and even original songs inspired by his journey. Simon became his biggest supporter, often standing up before anyone else after Jay performed. People around the world sent messages, letters, and donations. He wasn't just a contestant anymore. He was a symbol of hope. In the semifinal, Jay performed "Can't Help Falling in Love" with just his guitar. He sat on a stool, closed his eyes, and delivered a performance so pure that even Simon's voice cracked when giving feedback. "You remind me why I love this job," Simon said. "You came from the streets, with nothing but a voice, and now look at you. You are the definition of real talent." Jay advanced to the grand finale. Ireland was buzzing. Social media was flooded with hashtags of his name. People from the Philippines, the US, the UK, and all over Europe tuned in to watch. On the night of the finale, the lights dimmed again. Jay walked on stage in the same white shirt he wore during his audition. He wanted to remind himself of where he came from. The orchestra started playing. Jay sang "My Way," a song that reflected his journey perfectly. It was raw, emotional, and absolutely flawless. When the last note ended, there was no hesitation. The crowd roared louder than ever. Simon stood up, clapping with tears in his eyes. Michelle hugged Denise. Louis shouted, "You're the winner, Jay." The host walked up with the envelope. The tension was heavy in the air. And then, the moment came. The winner of Ireland's Got Talent is Jay from the Philippines. Confetti rained again. Jay fell to his knees in tears. The judges rushed to the stage. Simon hugged him tightly and whispered, "You've changed everything." That night, Jay wasn't just a street singer anymore. He was a global star. Within weeks, his audition had crossed hundreds of millions of views online. He was invited to perform on international stages, record albums, and even collaborate with big artists. But Jay never forgot his roots. The first thing he did was build a small house for his mother and siblings back in Cebu. He returned to the same street where he used to sing, not to earn coins anymore, but to inspire other kids. He said, "This street gave me my voice. Now I want to give back." Simon Cowell later said in an interview, "I've seen legends, but Jay, he was something else. He sang with his soul. He reminded me of the magic of music." Jay's story became one of the most inspiring moments in the history of talent shows. It wasn't about fame or fortune. It was about hope. About how a poor boy with a guitar could conquer the world with nothing but his voice. Millions of people still rewatch his golden buzzer moment, crying, smiling, and feeling that spark of inspiration. As years passed, Jay continued to tour the world. He sang on stages bigger than he ever imagined. But every concert, every award, every standing ovation, he would whisper the same words before stepping on stage, the words he said to himself on that plane to Dublin: "This is it." So the next time you feel like your dreams are too big or your situation is too hard, remember Jay's story. A poor street singer who dared to dream. A boy who made Simon Cowell speechless. A voice that was called better than Elvis. A soul that touched millions. Thank you for watching this story. If it inspired you even a little, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more incredible talent journeys, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Because one voice, one story, can change everything. Stay inspired, stay strong, and never stop dreaming.